At the start of pre-release for Fate Reforged, I opened a pre-release kit and asked you to decide what colors we should play. Even if we ignore the overwhelming bomb of Kolaghan, our colors in Mardu are just so strong. So the overwhelming response was to build Mardu. But I want to pose a challenge to you before we build that Mardu deck. And that challenge is this. Which of our 3 Mardu colors is the weakest? Which of our 2 non-Mardu colors is the strongest? This is a really good exercise so that you can consider what you might want to splash for in a 4th color. Remember that in Khan's block, 4, or in some cases even 5 color decks are much more doable than in the past. Also, it's a good exercise for evaluating whether or not you want to stay in the clan colors you've gone with, or whether you want to drop your weakest color and maybe change to having only a 2-color deck, or just change to having a different clan and a different 3rd color. These are options that should be considered, even in our case where we have this overwhelming pressure to build Mardu. Let's take a look. If we try and get rid of the unplayable or otherwise undesirable cards for each color, what are we left with? Here's my choices for Mardu. But of these, which are the best of the best? Which aren't getting cut no matter what? These would be my picks for must-plays in each Mardu color. Now we've got several great cards in both red and black, but in white, the best card we have is kind of the Alabaster Kirin. And I don't know if I'd describe it as a must-play card so much. It's very good, don't get me wrong, but is it really the top of what we've got in white? Now, that being said, there's Warflare and Rough Rider in gold, and we've got multiples of each, but I would say with confidence that white is probably our weakest of the 3 colors. But what about between green and blue? Which has the strongest cards of those 2? In green, we have not 1 but 2 potentially amazing cards. The Abzan Beastmaster, which is a favorite of mine, as well as the Temur Sabertooth. If you ordered me to drop white, I'd go for green in a heartbeat just because of these 2 cards. Although looking at the green picks, it's a fairly strong 3rd color. I'm very tempted to build a 4-color deck here, but I promised to go with what you told me to build, and the overwhelming majority was for Mardu. So let's Mardu it to it. Sorry, I will never say that again. We have a total of 36 spells in Mardu colors, and we want to bring that down to somewhere between 22 to 24. So let's say we look to cut about 13 cards. I am keeping the Sure Shot, Alicia, Outpost Siege, and Kolaghan in for certain. In white, I'm cutting the Dragon Bell Monk and Lamassu. And looking at what is left, I want to go for more of an aggro route. I'm not going to try and get some kind of quasi-Mardu control and sealed, so Dousing Gloom, Rite, and Ancestral Vengeance are all going away with the Disowned Ancestor in black. Along those same lines, Bathe in Dragonfire is going in red. Flame Rush Rider is a tough cut for me, but I'm going to cut it here because it isn't what I want to be casting late game. Same goes for Fierce Invocation. And we're going to cut at least 1 of the War Flares. That leaves us with a sweet 23 cards. The curve is a bit high though, but these games are still slow enough that I think we can do a lot here. That being said, it's very important that the first game or games that I play with this deck, I pay very, very close attention to how I'm doing early game. And I might want to go back and try and adjust the curve a bit more towards the low end. But what do you think? Would you have splashed for green and done some precision cuts to make that work? Or maybe dropped white entirely and either gone with a red, black, and green build, or maybe just red and black straight into Rakdos. This isn't a black and white formula, or even a black and red one, or black and green, eh? Alright, it's a process of discovery and testing that relies on past information and even a little luck. I'm not presenting these as the right answers by any means. I'm presenting simply a demonstration of this process. I hope this video was of some help for you. Did you have fun at pre-release? Don't forget about launch next weekend. And don't forget, you can't play pre-release. You can't play launch. You can't play Friday Night Magic at Target and Walmart. And so, whenever you're buying packs or accessories or anything for Magic the Gathering, if it's possible, if it's reasonable, try and spend that money at the place you spend time playing Magic. And that's at your local game store, whenever possible.